Have you ever wondered what really makes a city smart? We hear about things like traffic that just flows, trash cans that empty themselves, or power grids that fix themselves before you even know there's a problem. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's happening. And underneath all that cool tech, there's this hidden digital architecture, this operating system for the city. And right now, the biggest companies in the world are in a massive race to be the ones who build it. So what is this invisible engine? It's way more than just a bunch of sensors and cameras. It's this super complex, interconnected system that lets a city actually sense what's happening, think about it, and then act on it, all in real time. And at the very heart of all this, there's one single component that changes everything. And that component is the Smart City IoT platform. The easiest way to think about it is as the city's digital brain and its central nervous system all rolled into one. This is the software that pulls in data from literally thousands of places, streetlights, water pipes, you name it, and then makes sense of it all. So for a city, choosing which platform to use, well, it's a huge decision. It's like picking the entire operating system for its future. So who's actually in the running to build these digital brains? Well, first up are the names you'd probably expect, the massive cloud giants. These are the companies that want to manage, store, and this is the important part, analyze every single byte of data a city produces. And just look at this. The market is incredibly concentrated right at the top. Microsoft, Amazon, IBM, and Google. Together, they control over half of the entire smart city platform market. This is not a free-for-all. It's an absolute battle of titans. And for the cities making the choice, it has huge implications for everything from how much it costs to who actually controls their data. And as of right now, there is a clear leader standing at the top of the mountain. And that's Microsoft with its Azure IoT platform. 17%. Now, I know that might not sound like a crazy high number, but in a market this complicated and this valuable, believe me, it's a significant lead. So the real question is why? Why are so many cities picking them? Well, there are a few big reasons. For one, a lot of cities already run on Microsoft software, right? So it's just an easier integration. But the real game changer here is this concept of digital twins. Azure lets cities build a complete virtual replica of themselves. Just think about that. You could test new traffic patterns during a simulated blizzard or run drills for an emergency response to a virtual earthquake, all with zero real-world risk. For city planners who are naturally pretty cautious, that is a massive, massive selling point. Of course, the other giants are right on their heels, and for a city, the choice often boils down to this. Do you need the raw, unstoppable, reliable power of AWS, for things like the energy grid that absolutely positively cannot fail? Or do you need Google's unbelievable ability to analyze insane amounts of data in real time? That's perfect for managing the chaos of a complex transportation network. It's really a choice between raw power and pure analytical genius. But, a brain is totally useless without a nervous system to carry all its signals. And that brings us to our next group of players, the big, established engineering and networking companies. These are the guys who provide that reliable, physical backbone for the smart city. And in this space, one name stands way, way above the rest: Cisco. With 14% of the market, they are the dominant force here. These are the companies that have been building the actual nuts and bolts of our cities for decades, long before anyone was even using the term smart city. And their entire value proposition, their whole reason for being, is built on trust and reliability. I mean, when we're talking about the systems that control traffic lights, the power grid, emergency services, failure is just not an option. Each of these companies kind of has its own specialty. You can think of Cisco as the master traffic cop for all the city's data. Siemens is all about connecting that heavy-duty industrial gear. Think power plants, metro systems. GE gets right down to the machine level, actually talking to individual water meters and power turbines. And Schneider Electric, they're laser-focused on making the city greener and more energy efficient. Okay, so we've got the brain and the central nervous system. But how does information get from some tiny little sensor in a park all the way back to the brain? That's where our third group comes in. These are the veins and arteries of the smart city. So the most obvious players here are the big telecom companies, giants like AT&T and Verizon. They use their massive cellular networks to basically create high-speed data highways, connecting everything from police cars to smart streetlights all across the city. But here's the thing. A parking sensor doesn't need a 5G connection just to whisper, "Hey, I'm empty." For the thousands upon thousands of small, simple devices that are scattered all around a city, you need a totally different kind of network, one that's all about low cost and having a battery that lasts for years. And this leads to a really fascinating showdown between two different technologies. On one side, you've got LoRa. It's a super flexible, low-cost option that actually lets a city build its own private network. It's perfect for things like air quality monitors or smart waste bins. And on the other side, you've got NB-IoT, which runs on the existing super secure cell networks. That makes it incredibly reliable for stuff like water meters that are buried deep underground. So, we've got our three main groups: the brains, the nervous system, and the arteries. But the tech world never, ever stands still. The whole model of what a smart city is, it's already evolving in some really interesting and, frankly, very important ways. There are three huge shifts happening right now. First, cities are pushing computing power away from the central cloud and out to the edge, closer to where the data is actually being created. Second, they're moving away from relying on just one single company, and instead they're mixing and matching the best platforms for the job. And third, they're embracing open source tools so they don't get locked into one provider forever. 6.5%. That's the percentage of cities that are already adopting this first trend, edge computing. So what does that really mean? Well, instead of sending a constant video stream from a traffic camera all the way to the cloud to be analyzed, the camera itself has enough power to analyze the video right there, and it only sends an alert if it sees something important. It's faster, it uses way less bandwidth, and it's much, much better for privacy. And this leads right into that second big shift. The future isn't about a city being a Microsoft city or a Cisco city. Nope. It's about creating a hybrid system. Already, about 5% of projects are using this multi-platform approach. Maybe they're combining Azure's AI tools with Siemens's industrial hardware. It's all about picking the absolute best tool for each specific job. So let's bring it all together. The cloud giants, they're the powerful data brains. The infrastructure companies, they're the trusted central nervous system. And the specialists and connectors, they act as the veins and arteries, making sure data flows from every single corner of the city. And the key thing to remember is that the city of the future won't be built by one winner. It's going to be a hybrid of all these players, all working together in smarter, more flexible ways. Which leaves us with one final, and I think pretty crucial question. We've talked a lot about the technology, the platforms, the market share, but as these systems get woven more and more deeply into the fabric of our daily lives, the most important question isn't about technology at all. It's about us. As our cities get smarter and more intelligent, who is responsible for making sure they stay fundamentally human?